I'd like to say, firstly, I'd like to say thank you to Iris for arranging this wonderful event and this amazing, and this great community of people. And obviously, I just to reintroduce myself. So I'm in my final year of my PhD. I'm working with bioregenerative devices, and I'm creating new types of devices which are going to be pertinent for space travel. Like obviously working with bioregenerative microalgae. My research is going quite interplanetary, looking at how systems are on other planets and how that can reflect back to Earth. So it's kind of like working on also the International Space Station as well. I've been quite fortunate enough, Brenda's my supervisor and Professor Marcus Cruz, and I've been fortunate enough to I've got a talk coming up at MIT about my work. They've invited me, which is, oh my God. Like, so I've got that. So it's all kind of, and it's great to go to meet these network in person. I'm going to fly there.
When are you going?
I'm going on the 28th of April. And it's really good because it's all space sector. It's all like all NASA, you know, all these amazing people, which will be great, you know. So I'm really, yeah, that's the one. So I'm really excited about that whole kind of working with them. And you know what happens when you meet them in person, there might be ways, and it's really weird. For my literature review, I've been kind of reviewing a lot of the work, but funnily enough, it hasn't been a lot from MIT. There's an amazing university called the University of Colorado Boulder, and they're doing a lot with bioastronautics. So I'm going to be doing maybe a placement there, and I haven't been for a little while because of all the COVID, but I might fly back after MIT to go and do something there. But it's the space sector are really into bio at the moment with SpaceX. There's venture capitalists, there's all these people, and I've been lucky enough. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I want to pitch for a special project because I'm also an artist, and I've showed my work in the National Portrait Gallery. I work with people like Amy Winehouse, Naomi Campbell, and all of these people.
What are we doing in your house?
Well, these are all my big portraits. So I've worked with all of them, and basically I thought we're at this moment where I think we need to, you know, this is a special moment. What I'm really finding with Iris and the group of the Bioladies and Biolads, and I thought would be a really good idea to record this moment in time, because there will not be a record of it. There will not be a record of what's happening. And I think it's really pertinent that we also have a record of what we're doing and what's happened. And I think the best way really would be an interesting visual kind of methodology, you know, like taking portraits of everybody at the Bioladies. And it would entail me getting a studio and having everybody come down for the day, and we'll have from wherever you're in the world you are. It's a VIP day.
Oh, we need to put in the calendar. Like,
you're going to get your hair and makeup done, and we'll have an amazing time where we record that, and it could potentially be made into a little kind of booklet. And that booklet would be really good as a way to record it, and it would be very academic, because hearing all your stories, you know, what you're doing. I mean, where will you hear about someone making hair with hemp? You know, so I mean, obviously there's all these NDAs that you most probably have to sign, but obviously it should be about the person and your history and your story. And I think not just
the picture made by you.
Yeah, picture made by
me.
Yeah. So what we'd be looking for, it's not a lot of funding, but there'd be some we can put it in the newsletter or whatever. What kind of, it'd be like a funding call. I mean, obviously I could apply to the Arts Council, but you know, have you ever anyone done those Art Council funding? It's just like you need a PhD just to do that. So if there was like a private sector or some kind of way we could get some from each company to say we want to do this project, and it will be an amazing thing, and it could even be an exhibition as well.
I can help you to look for the funding. Like, not the arts one. I don't have access to those. But
No,
like, you know, I'm sure
bio.
like if we're doing like bio, and if we're doing like interdisciplinary, right?
Yeah,
of course,
art,
it will be everything.
Oh, absolutely.
So how much do you think it will cost? You know, how much does a studio cost per day? How much does the makeup artist cost? We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to give you all the details, but it's not extortionate. It's not like, I mean, normally my day rate's very high. It's true. I was just talking to someone about it, but you know, for me, it's more important to I think how do you record, it's like if I take a portrait of Iris, it's not going to just be a portrait of Iris, it's the timeline of what she's done in that image. It's not just a picture, it's not a fashion picture. My portraits of Amy, with Amy Winehouse that captured her whole life, and they are now in the permanent collection of the National Portrait Gallery. And that's why I think it's important, the narrative that sits with the image as well. And obviously, what I've been inspired by these 3 years that I've known you is there's such a diverse set of ideas, and it's really bubbling, it's really developing. And I think there's a real big potential of this network to go much further. So I would love to, raise a glass firstly to Iris. To say
raise a glass to the network.
To the network.
The network is nothing without the members, right? It's only the members.
And we can bring like different plants.
Cheers.
You can bring
Cheers.
them
Cheers.
hemp for your photos. I don't know if you can bring some of your filters for the photos.
Coffee. Like I'm
So
not.
I think it would be a good idea, I think it would be really nice because I like.
You can bring your hemp as well.
Yeah. Yeah, well, then you could even do creative things where you could have the picture of the person and the hemp next to the person. In this amazing, because it's like it's what we see. Like literally, I've got an exhibition coming up, so you're all invited VIP.
Okay.
It's on the 10th of April at the Museum of Contemporary Art in
Okay,
London.
can you send me the information? I'll put it in the
In Peckham
network.
and Dulwich, in between Peckham
Put
and
it as
Dulwich.
a calendar invitation.
Yeah, so it's
Already, it's already
they
provided.
have different
Yes.
galleries around the world. So I'm doing it 2 parts. I'm exploring my whole, it's called post-human bodying, a birth of critical post-human practice. So it's all about the human after the human. And basically what that means in the simplest terms is, how is the new human going to survive? Now, and we're surviving, all of us, Bioladies, Biolads, we are going to be biointegrated. And that's with everything, how things are redeveloping, microplastic, how you'll use remediation, bioregenerative systems. So there's a lot of that out there. So I think we could really push that further through the images. And I think that's the critical post-human practice. Simply, we have to live with the ecological environment. Otherwise, things are going to be very difficult for everyone.
Absolutely.
Rather than use the word climate change, climate emergency, it's kind of like, it's becoming to be a bit of a buzzword, so it's almost like the damages from the ecological environment. I mean, I feel more like that. And I feel that nobody is doing anything really. Everyone's talking about mitigation methods, like even, like these people like Nick Bostrom from Oxford, and they're all these kind of they've created these global centers.
It's adaptation.
We need to adapt, and we need to protect, and we also need to think, what if, the worst case scenario happens? How are we going to cope? How do we cope with that? How do we cope with this? Even last night, I was sorry to bring the tone down. I saw a program on BBC4 about recycling human waste. And that's a big thing that's happening now as well, with all specifically in Coventry, the recycling of human waste, they're doing that. And they're using all these different for the soils as well.
But I think the big difference, well, I don't know if this is a talk or can we contribute?
Yes, I think the talk is over.
Exactly.
You were pitching for the Bioladies portfolio.
Yeah.
So anybody that knows of any place where we can ask for some
Pocket money.
To pay for the studio, and because Ram is going to do it for free for us, which is amazing, because he usually charges a huge amount.
But it could be even, for example, let's say if it was with a company, and we didn't have to do it in, have it in London. It could be in a beautiful, say if it was in one of these bio institutes where you have this factory where it's all biological, and then you have an exhibition just there. This is because that's what we need to see, the Bioladies network, there.